Good morning and welcome to another Monday Live, and well into the middle of August now, and as is always a shock to the system, the football season starting this early, but there you go, and we've all got going on that. Just a quick reminder, some people do like to put things on pause, etc., so no exciting exclamations about England wickets and things like that. Okay, so please keep. I mean, I love it, but of course there's certain people watching who might not. So I will find out afterwards as well. So what are we doing this week? Just a quick, not so much apology, but just a clarification. We're doing Thinking Defence this month. And what I've done is our seminar is Thinking Defence in No Trumps, and I've sort of moved the subject on to Thinking Defence in Suits during these Mondays. Some of you noticed that they are titled Thinking Defence in No Trumps. They should actually be Thinking Defence. So, oh, loud noise there, not sure what that was, but anyway. Thinking Defence as a whole, and what we're trying to do is take our time and hopefully find better defences. Defence is a wonderful part of the game. It's my favourite part of the game, and I did a lot of it. I will say I did a lot of it last Wednesday. I say that, no I didn't. I spent half the time as dummy and half the time defending, if I remember. Yes, Sandy played a lot of hands. She played 6. But and if you can get it right, it's a nice feeling. So okay, wow, the chocolate brownies were getting excited in the kitchen, were they? That's amazing. Okay, well, let's hope they come out all right. So we teams hopefully next week, this week coming. I'm due the good hands, so and it's on special offer as well. So those of you who fancy it, non-members who fancy joining us, you get the chance to join us for just £3 this week. So you'll see that in the special offers. What else is there? Well, I'm glad a few people are looking forward to the Mallorca holiday coming in October, which Will is going to be hosting. That should be fun. We've also got, I'm going to go in April. So if you want to join me in April next year in Mallorca, or for that matter, we've got Croatia as well, which Will's on. I mean, let me just show you a couple of the, don't forget this is your holiday sites. You go to the holidays, you can see the events like Christmas, the cruises, all the different UK events, and you can make your way through this yourself. As you can see there, the 2 overseas event next year are Mallorca and Croatia. There may well be some more in the upping and coming, as it were, depending on how the world carries on. But we'll see. The topics: Thinking Defence on Mondays, and on Fridays we are supporting majors. We're changing the topic to supporting majors, and we're going to look at an example of that in our hand evaluation hand in just a moment. But last and certainly not least, we have Begin Bridge on the site. So we have now got, for members, you have Begin Bridge available to you. Now, for most of you, I'll assume you won't need that. For novices, you will find there's 20 chapters, the first 4 on mini bridge. That is for absolute beginners. Most of the big bidding stuff is still relatively novice, 12 chapters there, but the last 4 on defence is good practice. Obviously some simple quizzes on leads and things like that, but some good practice there as well. So do make use of that, and I will be commenting and making some comments with respect to the Begin Bridge for the novices and beginners tips that we have on these Mondays. So remember, you have the opportunity as a member to do that. As a non-member, if you wish, if you're a beginner novice, you do have the option of having a 30-day free trial, which you can phone in to the office for. They will organise that for you. If that's for beginners and novices, you can join us, have a look at the Begin Bridge, see what you think, and see how you get on with it. You would be welcome to do that. Okay, so I think we will start with the hand evaluation hand. So some of you on Friday will have seen this, and as I say, the topic that we are going to here is on Fridays is going to be supporting majors, and of course we are going to include in that the Jacoby 2-no trumps, for those of you who are familiar or not familiar with that. It's one of those things that's coming up a lot more now. So it's an artificial response of 2-no trumps to one of a major. And even if you do not want to play it, it's useful to know what it means when your opponents use it. So like many conventions. But of course, supporting majors has a lot more to it than just being strong. Anyway, have a look at this hand. You've got obviously just 9 high card points, but what is it? So in fact, what I really want you to do is decide how you feel about it after a 1 heart or 1 spade opening. Decide how you feel about it if you get a 1 heart or 1 spades opening. Okay, and that's the crucial thing. So have a think about that. We're going to go and do a bit of defense in the meantime, and then we will come back to this. Okay, so you're responding to one of a major and see how you feel about it, but also evaluate it just as a simple hand. You know, what do you think of it? Okay, let's go to our little bit of defense. I think I'm over there. I am. So we're going to be thinking of defense. Do you know, I've just, as I start this, I know I haven't put the green screen in again, so I apologize for that. I will make sure it's in there next time, because I've got all of these defensive seminars ready for the next 3 or 4, 2 or 3 weeks now. So bear with me on that one. Okay. So every time I do a defensive seminar, however long or short, I always start with this. Okay, I always start with the 3 tenets of basic defense, because the more you get told it, the more it'll get into your head. So make your high cards work. So always remember that when you're defending. Your ace's job is to kill a king, queen, or jack. Your king's job is to kill a queen, jack, or 10. Your Jack's job is, a queen's job is to kill a jack, 10, 9, etc. You know, always want your high cards to work. That's the most important. They won't always be able to, particularly if your partner leads to you. You'll often have to sacrifice a high card. But when your partner leads to you, the reason you're sacrificing a high card is because hopefully he's got high cards himself that need promoting. Okay. Do not waste your middle cards. These are the 7s, 8s and 9s that probably don't seem very important at the time, okay? But they can come to haunt you on the last round of the suit when all of the ace, kings, queens and jacks and 10s have gone. You know, then the 7, 8 and 9 can be quite important, okay? So don't just waste them because you think, oh, I need to force declarer to play a bit higher. And of course the defensive finesse, which we always need to remember, is when you're declarer, you can see 2 hands, you can see you're missing the king. As a defender, you need to talk a little to each other. So whenever you lead low, it should promise a high card, an honor, well, particularly ace, king, queen or jack. And if you then talk to each other throughout the hand like that, whenever you lead, you say if you've got an honor or not, it then allows you to know whether there's a finesse or not. Okay, if you've got ace, queen, jack and your partner leads at the 2 or something later in the hand, you know he's got an honor, you've got ace, queen, jack, you can run the suit. There's no finesse. That's the tricky part. Okay, so I hope we've got the message, and even if you haven't seen the seminar on our site, you will have probably had this message at least 3 or 4 times in the Mondays I've done so far, and that is, I want you to take your time at trick 1. Okay, it's fundamental to the game. So remember, we don't see dummy yet. Okay, so dummy's at the top of the screen here. You're sitting in the east seat, and once again, apologies for not having the green square in. The green square would surround the northeast, southwest thing, but we're going to be sat in the east seat the whole time. We're not going to be swapping, so there's no problem there. We're going to look at the bidding first, then we'll go through it. So it goes a spade from south. We cannot see south's hand. Don't forget that. We cannot see south's hand. 1 spade. Pass from your partner. What would you bid on the north hand? That's a tricky one, isn't it? It's a tricky bid. So what would you respond to 1 spade with the north hand? Really tricky, I think, that one. I think you've sort of just got to bid 2 clubs, don't you, really? And that's what he chose to bid, but it's not nice, is it? Some people would play 3 no trumps as flat, but often we'll have that promising 4-card support, 4, 3, 3, 3, 3. So I think you've just got to bid 2 clubs. Don't bid 2 hearts. Okay, if you are going to lie, tell a lie in a minor. And I know you've got longer hearts than clubs, but 2 hearts unconditionally promises 5, and partner will take you seriously and might go off bidding a slam and things like that. So not only have you not got 5, your 4 are pretty bad. So 2 clubs I think is reasonable. Partner will assume you have 4 or 5. Okay, now East, the hand that we're going to be looking at, is quite excited by 2 clubs because of course he doesn't do it. I think he just passes. South rebids 2 diamonds. Okay, South rebids 2 diamonds. And North probably size at this point, but I think 4 spades is probably the reasonable bid. Okay, 4 spades is probably the reasonable bid. You've got 13 points. You do have 8 losers, those of you who count losers, but don't forget the losing trick count isn't brilliant at evaluating completely flat hands, and I think 4 spades is the practical bid. Why are you bidding that? Because your partner has promised 5 spades. If he opens 1 spades and rebids 2 diamonds, he's promising 5 in the first suit. Really important that. If he was only 4-4, he would have bid no trumps at some point, either as an opening bid or as a rebid. Okay, so he should be at least 5 and 4. 3.5 spades is a perfectly reasonable bid, Lewis. Yeah, 3.5 is good. Or 4 spades with a sigh. That's pretty much it. But not that you're allowed to do this, of course, when you go back to live bridge. And I know quite a lot of you are, which is quite exciting. So yeah, so we'll have to start talking about behaving ourselves again instead of doing what we want in our things. Absolutely, it's a 4-3-3-3 hand. It's really, really difficult. I mean, you'd love to be able to say, partner, 4 spades, but if you want to play in 3 no trumps, can I be allowed to go back there? It's tricky, but with 5-4 in your partner's hand, your partner could easily have a singleton here. So South could be sat with a singleton heart, in which case, obviously, you'd prefer to be in 4 spades. Okay, so 4 spades, let's put the bidding away. Okay, it's 4 spades by North-South, but I want you to be thinking defence here. So you are East, you can't see dummy yet, but you are going to be able to see it now. Of course, you've seen it the whole time. So the Queen of Hearts is led. The Queen of Hearts is led by your partner. You can now see dummy. Okay, you can see dummy. And of course, John's absolutely right. 3 spades is correct because we're in a defensive seminar. But it's only if we get this right, though. And you'll find a lot of people do struggle with defence, and that's why people bid more now. The reason why people bid more is because actually we found that although when we look at the hand double dummy, you should only make 9 tricks, so often you end up making 10. So what we're going to do here, don't worry about if you know what the answer is now or whatever. What I want you to do is make your way slowly through the things that we need to think about. So when dummy comes down, dummy is now there. Okay, what we need to do is go through each suit first. So before I play a card at trick 1, I'm going to go through each suit to make sure I'm ready to play. Now, of course, here it's going to be easy. But by going through each suit, it makes you look at dummy, look at your hand. So let's do it. Okay. So in spades, I think we can manage to all find the right play in the spade suit. We'll play the 4, obviously. In hearts, we usually look at that next. That's going to be assessing the lead. So we'll look at that in a moment. Diamonds, what do you think? Okay, well in diamonds, generally, I'm going to play high-low. You don't have to do that, but I'll often follow suit by playing a higher one than a lower one when I've got an even number of cards. It can be really important for partner. My partner could be sitting there with the ace of diamonds wanting to know what to do. Okay. Clubs. Clubs is an interesting one. You'll notice I've put the jack of clubs there, which is very odd. Why have I put that there? Well, at some point in the play, I'm contemplating the idea of playing the jack, which would promise a solid sequence. So a play of an honour as a discard or a following suit generally is saying, partner, I've got a solid sequence here. So if dummy if dummy played a small one, I could play up with the jack or something like that. Okay, now declare a win the king, but at least it will tell my partner possibly. It's not usually going to be helpful there. As a discard though, throwing the jack of clubs could be really valuable because it shows a solid sequence, but it denies the king. Okay, which partner might need to know. Okay, all right, so again, if you prefer, just play the 2 of clubs, but make your decision now. So if you're ready, if declarer plays the 6 of clubs, just play the 2. It's absolutely fine. Believe you me, declarer is not finessing the 7 of clubs here. Okay, so you don't need to put anything in. Okay, but I've been through each of the suits and notice somehow my mind is thinking about certain things that are not normal. And that's what you need to in defense. You need your mind to start thinking in a defensive way. Okay, what about your partner's lead? What do you think? So again, we now think about partner's lead. And I think it's a good suit. I think we're pretty solid there. Partner doesn't have to have Queen Jack 10, but we'll have Queen Jack most of the time here. And we might want to unblock. Okay, we may need to unblock. All right, so what I mean by that is play the ace on the queen, then play the king, and then if necessary play another one if we're choosing to carry on with the suit. Okay. Right, remember, we know partner won't be short in hearts here, okay? Because if partner was short in hearts, south would be very long, and south has already shown spades and diamonds, okay? Do you aim for a ruff? So that's another important question we've got to ask ourselves. I know this is a lot of questions and it feels like it's going to take a long time, but those first, when I went through each suit, that would have taken me probably, hopefully 5 seconds, because realizing you're going to play the 4 of spades on a spade lead isn't going to take you long, I hope. Okay, so are we aiming for ruffs? Well, clearly we do not think partner has a singleton or a doubleton, because declarer would have bid hearts. So partner cannot, it's important to go through that process. Always consider, could it be short? No. So partner's lead is not shortage. Okay, well if partner's not led shortage, have we got a shortage? Bearing in mind we don't want the shortage to be in trumps. And of course, again, the answer is no. We haven't got a shortage. Okay, so we're not aiming for us. Okay, the next question for suit contract is, do we need to stop dummy ruffing? And let's be honest, as we saw in the bidding, because we did the bidding for North, North is very flat. So the answer is no. Okay, we do not feel we need to stop North ruffing. Okay. So another part of your plan, is there any good suit to switch to? Okay. And in a way, yes, the answer is yes. There's definitely a good suit to switch to, isn't there? And that is diamonds. Okay. Okay, so diamonds would be a good suit to switch to. However, stop. We're going through this slowly. Don't get excited about playing diamonds yet. Okay. Some of you are jumping on a bandwagon there, which you're not going to be happy about when you get the answer. Okay. All right. Okay. So the problem with the diamond here is to remember the bidding. Okay, so a diamond lead could well be good, yes, but I have a feeling declarer's going to have to play diamonds anyway. So for example, if your partner has the ace queen of diamonds, okay, if your partner has the ace queen of diamonds, I think he's always going to make those. Declarer's sitting there with 4 diamonds, he's not going to be discarding or anything from dummy, so at some point declarer's going to have to actually play diamonds himself. Now it's different if diamonds hadn't been bid on this hand. Maybe it goes a spade, 2 clubs, 2 spades, 4 spades. Very different. If it went a spade, 2 clubs, 2 spades, 4 spades, I'm switching to diamonds here. But on the auction, it's gone a spade, 2 clubs, 2 diamonds from south. Okay. So it is diamond switch looks good. However, it is one of declarer's suits, and always now very different if dummy's got a fantastic club suit. If dummy had ace queen jack 10 to 5 clubs, I'd be thinking there'd be lots of discards here. Okay, so maybe I need but here nothing like that. Has anybody spotted the massive clue here, which is not easy? Okay, because most of the time, I'm going to be honest, I'm with you. if Bernard Magee put this hand to me and I saw massive weakness on my right, I'd be looking to switch to diamonds. But there is a massive clue to the correct play here. Okay. And it's something the declarer cannot see, but as defenders we can. Now, if I'm honest, it's easier for your partner, but we've got a good clue here. Okay. It's the singleton spade. Okay, the singleton spade is crucial here. Okay, so you've listened to the auction and you'd suspect that most of the time your opponents have a 5-3 fit. Okay, if they've got a 5-3 fit, we only have one trump. How many does that leave your partner with? Okay, so you've just got one, so how many do you think your partner might have? And the answer is 4. And so my plan here is to try to get declarer to ruff. So I'm actually going to take the king of hearts, cash the ace of hearts if it wins, and then play another heart. Now if declarer ruffs that, he's down to the same number of trumps as my partner. Now he doesn't know that yet, but we do. Because we can see we've got a singleton. Remember, declarer's thinking, oh, trumps will break 3-2, this will be easy. The problem declarer has is if they do break 4-1, as you'll see, there's nothing that he can do about it. Now, if he happens to have the ace, king, queen, jack of diamonds, that's a different matter. But if he has to knock out a diamond loser, your partner can get the lead again and then play a 4th round of hearts. Can you see what's happened by then? Declarer will have gone down to fewer trumps than your partner, or he'll have none left. So whenever you have a shortage in trumps, just have in your mind, so for example, hopefully if you had 4 spades here, you'd have the same idea. If you'd had 4 trumps in your own hand, you'd be quite confident that trumps are breaking badly. But remember, whenever you're short in trumps, there's a good chance, particularly, now again, if the bidding had gone 1 spade, 2 clubs, 2 spades, well, we don't know how many spades South has, 5 or more. But when the bidding goes 1 spade, 2 clubs, 2 diamonds rebid, very often South will only have 5. He will sometimes have 6, but very often he'll only have 5. And that, of course, means that you're thinking that the trumps might 4-1. So whenever you think trumps are breaking badly, contemplate what's called a forcing defense. Okay? Contemplate a forcing defense. Okay, on this hand, you can contemplate ducking the Queen of Hearts, okay? But I think you've decided what you want to do, okay? The only other thing to worry about is if the hearts are breaking 5, 4, 3, 1, at some point, declarer might choose, he'll ruff the second heart, but he might choose to allow the third heart to win, discarding something, and then, because the suit is blocked, you would not perhaps be able to force declarer. So probably best is to unblock the hearts. So we're going to play the ace and king of hearts, but the important thing is we're going to play a third heart when we sort of guess declarer's out of it. Okay, and that's the crucial part here. We're actually planning to play hearts when they get ruffed and then plan to play them again. So whenever you think trumps are breaking badly, try to get declarer to ruff. Remember, we're forcing him to ruff in his long trump hand. Remember that. Don't forget, when we don't necessarily force him to ruff in the short trump hand because we know he likes that. But when we force declarer to ruff in his own long hand, we know he doesn't like it. Okay, so continue leading hearts. Okay, so we've gone through a lot there, and don't get me wrong, I know completely and utterly that we can't do that at the table. When we're playing live bridge, we can't do it. But if you are, if you have a friendly four at home, particularly now back to live bridge, hopefully, or at least in your home, and some of you are going back to the club. Particularly if you're playing in a live club. Interestingly, someone asking what's the difference between playing king and then ace and then 5, and the difference between playing ace and then king and then 5. There's not a huge amount, but in theory, if you really want every card to have a signal, the king ace is generally the normal way. You win with the lowest card you can and then play a higher one, and then ace king would be the other way. So in theory, you could have a McKenny signal, but ignore that, please, okay? Here it wouldn't make any difference, okay? So you win the king, play the ace, and play a third round. Can you see what's going to happen? This looks like such a simple hand for De Clara. De Clara has no spade losers. Look at it, he's got ace, king, queen, jack. He can draw trumps. All he loses is 2 hearts and the ace of diamonds. And to be honest, most people would put the hand away at that point, because a lot of players, not unreasonably, will switch to diamonds here. So they'll win the king, maybe play another one, and then switch to diamonds. Okay, so you take your 3 tricks. De Clara draws trumps, that's the end of that. Okay, important thing, of course, is to have a heart lead, because otherwise De Clara can discard one of them. Okay, but here it looks such a simple hand. But when we play 3 rounds of hearts, well, let's have a look. Okay, so the queen of hearts is led. We overtake it here with the ace of hearts. Again, it doesn't matter really which one you do. In theory, you could agree as a partnership to have a kind of signal there. So we go ace, king. And although we expect South probably to ruff this one, we don't care. We want him to ruff. It still looks okay, doesn't it? De Clara doesn't know what's going to happen yet. He plays the ace and king of trumps. Okay, it doesn't really matter. Eventually he's going to, so he actually, let's imagine he plays ace, king, queen of trumps, leaving 1 out. Okay, so he plays ace, king, jack of spades. He draws as many trumps as he can. The problem is he's still in control because he has the master trump. The problem is he has to knock out the ace of diamonds. Okay, so he does. He plays to the ace of diamonds. Okay, so let's do that. And the beauty here is that West can play the jack of hearts. And when he plays the jack of hearts, South has to ruff. And the 10 of spades is the setting trick. So whenever you think trumps are breaking badly, your job is to force De Clara into trump, don't forget, in the long trump hand. And there's nothing De Clara can do. He's got lovely winners there. He's not going to lose any more than 1 more trick because all the hearts have gone. And so his diamonds and clubs will make. But there's nothing that he can actually do there. As long as we force him to ruff, he is forced to do the ruffing. I think the contract's perfectly normal. Interestingly, 3 no trumps goes 1 off relatively easily anyway, doesn't it? You take the first 4 heart tricks and diamond, the ace of diamonds, so it'd be the same result. But as I say, it's really tricky this, because I spend a lot of time discussing defense and saying to you, look at dummy. Dummy is on your right, look for the weakest suit in sight. So you're east, you look at the dummy, and a diamond lead looks great. It really does. The reason we're not doing it here, and it's subtle, is because De Clara's bid diamonds. Okay, so De Clara's bid diamonds, maybe he can discard them all. Well, you can see dummy. If you look at dummy, look at the north hand there, there's no way that De Clara can discard many diamonds, is there? Okay, he can discard 1 on the ace, king, queen of clubs, but only 1. Okay, in which case he is going to have to play diamonds himself. So it's a very subtle thing, that. But if De Clara's bid the suit, very often, unless there's a huge suit in dummy, he will have to lead the suit himself, in which case there's not such an onus on you to play it. As I say, if the bidding had gone 1 spade, 2 clubs, 2 spades from South, then I would probably win the first heart and switch to diamonds. I would then win the second heart and switch to diamonds. And knowing Bernard Magee, if I did that, my partner would actually have king, jack to 4 diamonds. And if I switched to diamonds twice, we would take the contract down. Okay, so it is difficult, okay, because I can choose how I have the cards. But of course, the bidding is what gives it away. Now, we've had a lot of defence on the Wednesday games, and there's been some great fun defences, I have to say, where You know, particularly playing pairs, you're trying to work out what the right thing to do. I love a forcing defense. And when you have big hands where both sides are bidding a lot, the forcing defense can make the difference of 4 or 5 tricks. Here, it only made 1 trick difference because the hearts ran out. But if you can imagine, let's say West had a few more hearts along with 4, even if West has more hearts, well then when South loses trump control, West ends up making all of the rest of those hearts. So it can end up being 3 off rather than just 1 off. Okay, so let me come back to me. So what we're doing is spending a long time on one hand. So I'm looking at the clock there, that's probably taken us 15 minutes. Clearly we cannot do that live. So my recommendation to you is whenever you get a chance to play as a 4, say to them, look, let's have a bit of fun defending. Okay, let's really try as defenders. Let's get, you know, and do you mind us, you know. So don't forget, first trick, you're allowed to spend a fair bit of time, only about half a minute. Half a minute is quite a long time, actually. Now, I don't want you spending that half a minute thinking about, I don't know, whether you've done the washing up or what's on TV tomorrow. Okay, try, and even if you only go through the 3 suits, you will be, I hope that you will be surprised at the difference you can make with that. So if there's some of you out there, if you're willing to try that, go through each suit. So when dummy comes down, go through each suit, if it's played, and then start your defense. I hope that will, you know, make a difference to your defense. Just that simple tactic. Okay, let's go back to that hand that we've seen. So, when I pick up this hand, let's define it when I pick it up. I'm looking at what I would call a bare 9. It has got a singleton, but before my partner makes a bid, I've got 3 isolated honours. So, I'm going to be honest, my thoughts on this hand would be a not particularly wonderful 9. Okay, because we don't like isolated honours. For example, when your partner's got the queen of the suit, you lead up to the queen and then the king dies, kind of thing will often be the case. So I'm not starting off feeling wonderful about it. Let's see how the auction starts. 1 spade from your partner. Now, I have to say, I am feeling quite excited about the hand now, because clearly, when your partner opens a spade, your singleton is wonderful. Okay, now, having said that, we are suffering from that classic disease of acelessness. So always remember, when you are aceless, your losing trick count evaluation will be an over evaluation. So please remember that. So you've got a 7 loser hand here in inverted commas. Okay, you've got a 7 loser hand, but only in inverted commas because it's aceless. So it's not as good as a 7 loser hand. It is between an 8 loser and a 7 loser hand. It is undoubtedly a good 8 loser hand, but it's also a bad 7 loser hand. So it's in the middle there. So the perfect bid here is 3.5 spades. Okay. Someone did say earlier with a great analysis, they wanted to make a splinter, but they liked 11 high card points. I don't want you just to like 11 high card points for a splinter. I want you to always have it. Having said that, if I was ever going to stretch this hand with an ace in it instead, so if you had 2 kings and an ace with this hand, I might, because of kings and aces I love, I might just stretch. So if I had a singleton with 2 kings and an ace in this shape, that is probably the one time I might stretch to 10 points for the splinter, okay? Because I would feel it was genuinely. But for me here, this is a 3 spade bid. Now, for those of you who want to know the kind of Jacoby I'll be talking about on Fridays, I like to have it as a game forcing bid. Okay, so therefore I would not bid it on this hand. And also generally it's on balanced hands, not splinters. So to me, this is too weak for a splinter bid. Okay, and what will happen too often? Well, let's see what will happen. I'll open up the hand and I'll show you what I mean. Okay, so here I'm going to bid 3, so the auction's going to be nice and simple here. I'm going to bid 3 spades, okay. And partner's going to bid 4 spades, and that's what we'll finish in. I'm just going to take control here. So And obviously that finishes the auction. We've defined our hand. If we do that, so let's just restart with the auction. Let's say it goes a spade. If it goes 4 clubs here, so for those of you who don't understand a splinter, slightly advanced there, it is a jump to, it's a double jump bid. It's a completely unnecessary bid, a double jump bid to 4 clubs here, which says, partner, I'm not going to bid that as a natural bid. It's not a preemptive bid, partner. It's something else. And what we play it as is, I've got a shortage in clubs and I love your spades. So let's play in game at least. So we're playing in 4 spades at least, but if you fit well with my singleton club, let's go for it. Well, here, I have to say here, as North, I'm probably going to go for slam. And if I simply change the king of diamonds to the ace of diamonds, I think that I make that slam. So if I change the king of diamonds here to the ace of diamonds, in the south hand, can you see the leader club maybe switch to diamonds? I'll be able to discard a diamond on the ace, king, queen of hearts. And because I've got the ace of diamonds, so as North over 4 clubs, I'm going to try for slam. Okay, and I'm going to try hard for slam because I think I've got a pretty good hand. Okay, my partner said he's got 11 high card points outside of clubs. Well, if he's got 11 high card points, I'm fitting pretty well, aren't I? The only card I'm missing, wasted in the club suit, is the jack. And the rest of it's going to combine with my partner's 11 high card points. Don't forget, 11 high card points there. And so what I would do is I'd try for slam, and you might not get too high here, but as you can see, I've set the hand so that if you end up in 5 spades, you'll go down. Okay, so if you end up in 5 spades, you'll get the 10 of diamonds lead. West will win the queen of diamonds, the ace of diamonds. Okay, so here it would go 4 clubs. It would be a 4 heart cubid. Okay, and if South had the ace of diamonds there, he would know how important that is, because let me just put the 4 hearts in. That's what would happen. Absolutely, it's a cubid, partner. I like what it means is 2 things. It says, partner, I think we're going to have a chance for slam because I like your I like your cubid. I like your splinter bid. So I fit well with it. Let's try. And of course, I've missed out diamonds. So it would be South's job now to show diamonds. Now, to be fair here, as it happens, South might unilaterally decide 4 spades. But of course, partner could be stronger. So you don't really want to be doing a splinter and then denying that you've got a diamond control of some sort. Okay. If South had the ace of diamonds here, he would bid on. Okay. However, don't forget, I don't want you splintering in this hand because partner is placing you with 11 high card points outside the singleton. So 3 spades is good. I can't emphasize that enough. Whenever you are aceless, please remember that the losing trick count will be overvaluing your hand because it's assuming you've got a nice blend of aces in there. Okay. Again, if you have 3 aces in your hand, it's undervaluing it. So if you had ace of spades, ace of hearts, and ace of diamonds, your hand would be undervalued by the losing trick count. Okay, because although some of you don't like 3 bare aces, 3 aces and a singleton is a hugely powerful hand if you find a fit. It's not just a 7 loser hand. 3 aces and a singleton it means you've got most of the controls. So your partner could have a hand that doesn't have any first round controls and could end up making a slam. Now clearly he's not going to be doing that unless you get excited. Okay, so yeah, I mean, I hope you can see that, but the South hand is quite an interesting one there. Okay, so what are we going to do? I've got a prize winner. My prize winner. I don't need the cards. I'll show you the card she wins. She wins the 3 because that's the only seat left. And that's Angela Buckley. So well done, Angela Buckley. If you can join us at the end of this month, which is a week on Wednesday. And seat 3 means you are playing as my opponents at the other table. So you'll be in the team against me, playing north-south. So you're playing in the same seat as me and Brian, of course, because Brian is my partner for this week coming, sorry, Wednesday week. And as we're talking about the teams, this Wednesday we are also, it's the special offer, don't forget. So if you aren't a member, you can join us just for £3. Go to the special offers. Actually, I might even be able to find that. Oh gosh. Oh, there we go, look. No, that's not. That's the charity. But I will talk about the charity in a moment. I don't know where it is. Oh, yes, I've got it there. There we go. There you go. So you can see there, if you go to the shop and special offers, you can see that there. The charity page, I am looking for more charities. So we've got our stamp collection. So those of people who've got old stamps, used stamps, please send them in there. And they can change that magically into money for charity, which is lovely. And we've got a live event there, which is being promoted by Sylvia. I think that's in North London there in Bushy. So anybody who wants to join her can give her a call there. But that's a live event, which is exciting. But you'd have to do that quite quickly, okay? Because it does say places are limited. But so please do give us any live events that you want to promote or online charity events. We really are keen to go, and what we're going to try and do is then have feedback on how the events go and keep a page going like that. So just the bridge site is going to be changing, hopefully gradually as we keep going. We are going to revamp a few things for the autumn. It's quite tricky because the menu's a bit bulky at the moment, and we've just added Begin Bridge to it. So what we'd like to do is make it a bit neater, maybe get our community aspect, so all of the forums and things like that, and various things. And in fact, a number of beginners, novices have asked me to have a novice forum, and the idea of the novice forum is to only really have novices posting on it, which is a novel idea. And I agree, I can see what they're saying. They don't want people to take the topic beyond them, and bridge is infamous for that. Whenever you start, and actually I'm going to be honest, the Friday seminars have very much exhibited that. We'll often start with a very simple subject and we will take it quite a long way, and so I can see the idea of having a little novice forum or novice beginner forum and keeping the topics nice and simple is a nice idea, and it's something we may well combine with the begin bridge and novice bridge. And bearing that in mind, I've completely forgotten. I'm not with it. So let's go to let me sum up how the beginner's bridge works. So you can use the begin bridge. It's got a contents thing that's really important. Originally it was designed for your computers. It's now in a browser, so you know it's I'm going to say it's not perfect. You have options, you can have text responses, you can actually have me talking to you if you wish. Sometimes you might get fed up with that, but I can talk to you in response to your things. Those of you who've got the softwares that I've created for higher levels, so you know, for ACL bidding and more ACL bidding and declare plan defense will be used to the scenario. It's, you know, clearly you can have a look at it as an expert as well, or as a player, and see some of the ideas involved. And as I say, if you're a teacher and you've got beginners, please do allow them to come on and sign on for free. So the first 4 chapters are done for mini bridge. If you're not used to that, all you do is announce the number of points you've got in your hands, okay? And then chapters 5 to 16 is on the bidding, and in fact I will mention that one of those chapters actually talks about strong twos. It's not something that I'm going to talk about much in the future, but I love people to understand what a strong two is. And when we talk about strong hands, I'm turning around to look at the calendar, in November, the whole of November, we're going to be talking about strong opening hands. I love to be able to use the term strong two, which I do understand that a lot of novice and beginners that have come brand new to the game will not understand because it doesn't get taught anymore. I felt that teaching it originally and then allowing people to branch out might have been a reasonable way of doing things, but anyway, so I have to redefine what a strong two is now. And the last 4 chapters are on defence, which can be very valuable for the novices. I will say good revision. I mean, there's one little bit on choosing your opening lead and things like that, and then some playthrough ones, and then some ones for you to practice on. So because defence is so difficult, it really is, so do have a think about that. So we've got the bidding quiz to come, so let's have a look at that. And as I say, these bidding quizzes, they're tricky. I'm going to blame Brian and one other. There was 2 of you that said, look, now you've got the novice bidding quiz on the site. Can you push us a little bit more with the with the other bidding quiz? So that's what we've been doing. So we do remember to have a novice quiz on the site for the members. So we sort of are trying to push the boundaries slightly with this. So here, 1 no trump from you, 3 spades from your partner. 1 no trump from you, a weak no trump, 3 spades from your partner. What do you fancy? Okay. So, have a little think about that. Don't forget, you can go to the site and have a look, and whether you're a member or a non-member. Okay. So, see what you think about that. And of course, part of this is understanding what the 3 spade bid means. Okay, and Tim has pretty much summed that up. He says he can never remember what the 3 spade bid means, but this is a good chance to remember. So I hope you enjoyed that. As I say, we're focusing on defense. I'd love to have some emails about how the defense is going, whether you're trying to go through each suit, going through every single question. I've asked you to do it during a duplicate isn't easy. Obviously it's going to take a long time, but just going through each suit may well help you. So do give me your feedback. If you're finding that it just get more confused, well, the feedback on that will be good as well. So hopefully see some of you on Wednesday for the teams, if not on Friday, for, don't forget, supporting majors. Thanks for your company today, and see you soon.